Hello, folks. How did I end up retired in Cambodia, in the Kingdom of Wonder? To answer that question, we need my backstory. And so today, here it is. Years ago, when I started thinking about taking early retirement, first thing I did was reflect on when I wore a younger man's clothes. In my early 20s, in the forces, was based in Central Europe and travelled all over the place. And that's where I got itchy feet. That's where I wanted to explore the world. But what I was, as retirement, thinking about retirement is concerned, I thought back. That was the first step. I remembered where I'd been, which countries, how the people were. Now, okay, that's 40 years ago. Things change. However, they don't change that dramatically in most places. So that was the first thought. Then I started traveling. I went to various countries, not in this particular order, but I went to Albania, to a place called Saranda, and an incredible place, but just a little difficult, and near the UK, a little difficult to sort out visas and things if you're a UK citizen. I then went to the Isle of Man. Now, people think the Isle of Man is an island belonging to the UK, and it's not. It's its own principality, it's its own country, but it does have links. It makes its own laws, makes its own rules, etc., etc. And it's great from a tax point of view, great place to live. I'll tell you a little story about when I was there. I was in a hotel and there was a bit of kerfuffle. A woman the night before had to go at a policeman. She was arrested. I mean, just verbally, nothing, but she was arrested, taken away. She was in court the next morning, fined and told she'd had to be on the ferry that day, as in the next morning, gone, don't come back. Now, when she'd gone out, I asked the receptionist, she's probably about 30-ish, that sounds terrible, all this fuss and whatever. And she said, we have got a phrase on the island, and it's this: if you don't like it here, there's a ferry in the morning. Let that sink in. I responded to that. I think that's the ideal way to be. And I've always felt that. If I'm in someone else's place, someone else's country, I'm the stranger. I'm the expat. I need to abide by how they live, not the other way around. So that was that. Then I end up in Thailand, a place called Hua Hin. A lot of people call it Hua Hin, but as far as I'm aware, the locals call it Hua Hin. And it was a wonderful place, right on the beach, coconuts washing up on the beach. For a guy from the UK to see coconuts washing up on the beach, oh wow, you died and gone to heaven. But for some reason, there wasn't a final click. Fast forward to January and February of this year. So we're coming to the end of the story now. I came here in January, wasn't quite sure, but knew I liked the place. A particular place called Siem Reap in Cambodia. Once February hit, the second month, I knew. I just woke up one morning, I tell this story, and I knew. I just woke up and thought, no, this. Now, of course, we don't know what the future will bring, I could be flaky and change my mind. But I'm now back, so I don't think that's going to happen. And that is how the travel from a young man in his 20s to a retired guy in his 60s got from the UK to Cambodia. And that is my backstory. I hope it's of some interest. I always like to reflect on it because it's not been a bad life as far as travel's concerned. Anyway, take care, safe travels.